This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Ron Cantrell. Thanks for joining. So we're back. We're doing another podcast tonight, and Kris, go ahead and take away who we have here for our special guest tonight.
We have a very special guest. My biological father is here.
Is there any other?
Oh man, here we go with the jokes right off the get-go.
No, my dad's here. He took some time off of work to sneak up to Stanwood and come up and be with us, and we got all sorts of stuff we're going to talk about. And,
lots of good stories.
Yeah, we're going to spin some yarns. It's going to be a good time. So thanks for tuning in, and prepare to be entertained.
Yep. Prepare to be entertained. So I guess let's start off, Jim. So there was another commission meeting. A lot of people have been following along. So why don't you go ahead and spice it up a little bit with what's been going on?
Well, for those of you who are not in the know about what's been going on in our great state, our Fish and Wildlife Commission has been pushing forward a new conservation/preservation plan.
It's preservation.
And banning and getting away from the North American model, which is the current model that we've been using for decades. And they want to come up with this new fake management plan that's going to basically slowly weed out hunting and fishing in the state of Washington. So today they had a meeting, and immediately after the meeting started, I started getting blown up from a bunch of people like, are you watching this? Like, did you hear what they just said? And I'm like, so apparently I haven't watched this whole thing yet, but apparently one of the commissioners went on to say something along the lines of hunters and anglers have had a voice or a seat at the table and been running the show for far too long, something along those lines, and that time is coming to an end. So basically declared war against hunters and anglers in the state of Washington.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
We already knew that we were heading down this road. We've been battling back and forth with certain commissioners, and things have just been getting worse and worse and worse. And, well, now it's coming to a head. And
I think the gloves are off now at this point.
The gloves are off at this point. We've tried playing nice. We've tried to appease them. We've tried to be understanding
Play
of
their games.
Yeah. Try to be really professional, and I'll continue to be professional, but the gloves are off at this point. And
this is our podcast.
Which ties in perfectly to some of you know that
breaking news, guys.
This is breaking. I don't know when this is going to come out, but put this on your calendar, September 12th, which is a Tuesday, September 12th. Mm-hmm. Open your phones right now. I'll wait.
Call in sick to work for that next Wednesday because you're going to need it.
Yeah, so Tuesday night, 5:30 to 8:30, Bear Country has secured the Skookum Brewery in Arlington there, right by the Arlington Airport, and we are going to do a fundraiser. We've partnered with Sportsman's Alliance, and if you're not familiar with Sportsman's Alliance, they're the people who sued Lorna Smith because she's a cheater and
liar.
And a liar, and she doesn't have.
Fake.
She has no interest in keeping sportsmen around and sportswomen around and sports persons. She doesn't like hunting or fishing or anything like that. So, long story short, we are going to sue the state, and we're going to sue them and sue them and sue them again, and we're going to keep suing them until we get back what is rightfully ours. So, we would love everyone listening to come out September 12th to Skookum Brewery. From 5:30 to 8:30. It's a fundraiser. Please bring your wallets. We're going to have some beers. We're going to have a ton of giveaways. We just partnered, re-signing our contract with Loophole, so we're going to have some Loophole stuff there. Mm-hmm. We'll have some Black Rifle Coffee stuff. We're going to try and get some other companies there as well. So please tell all your friends. Like I said, bring your money. There's going to be beer. We'll get a food truck.
Bring your dollars.
Bring your dollars.
Lots of dollars.
If you don't,
for a good cause, guys.
If you don't pay now, you will pay later. As in, you will not have hunting and fishing. So, come support the cause and help Bear Country Outdoors sue Washington State.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be good.
You know, it's really surprising. It's like you don't really know until you actually see it physically. You know, sometimes, and it's just.
It's happened so
rapid,
fast.
It's happening so fast.
So when we started down this whole road during the spring bear, that was just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
when we kind of started this whole thing. That was the last spring bear season that we went on.
Yep.
And
now
did we know that it was going down that trail?
we didn't
at that point?
At that point when we went on that spring bear hunt, there was nothing.
It wasn't. Yeah, it hadn't happened yet.
Nope. And
That
then
happened during
out
the
of
summer,
the blue,
right? Yeah.
out of the blue comes
Lorna
the
Smith.
evil
Yeah.
Lorna Smith
Yeah.
You can go on and on and on, guys.
riding on Jay Inslee's wings.
Yeah. And the rest of it, it's a mess.
And
Oh,
then
man.
it's just gotten worse and worse.
Yeah.
And every appointee, almost every appointee, I wouldn't say every appointee because one of these new ones gave it to him pretty good today, and I think he got himself in trouble,
There's
Well,
six or
We're
seven
gonna
of them.
have to,
which
I
makes
mean,
me like
Yeah.
makes me like him more.
Yeah.
But
There's some that are, they're not for us. They shouldn't be there. It's not, we had this conversation with Randy on his podcast, and he talks about like how it's supposed to be balanced, like commercial fishermen,
Yep.
sports fishermen. There's none of those. There's no hunters on there really. I mean, there's two commissioners that are, I don't know personally, but maybe they hunt.
one of them seems to be pro hunting, and he hunts. And then apparently one of these new ones that just got appointed is a hunter, and he's the one who got himself in trouble today.
Well,
And
Thanks.
the rest of
This
them,
is
there's
a
Loomcool.
commissioner?
You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. Loomcool is not a friend of mine. I do not like him. I think he's a fake. I think he poses as a hunter, and he acts like he's in support of it, but then every single action he does says otherwise. So as far as I'm concerned, he can go kick rocks.
so there's multiple lawsuits right now. We talked about Washingtonians.
Washingtonians for Wildlife Conservation,
Yeah.
they have a lawsuit going on.
So, any of these groups that you have a lawsuit going on, if you guys need some help, we're going to have multiple fundraisers. This is just the one of many. I plan on suing the state till the end of time. I'm so sick of the Fish and Game Commission.
I know, me too.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's I'm not an attorney.
You're looking out for all of us.
I'm a busy guy. We all have multiple jobs and families to raise, and I'm just sick of people ruining it for everyone else. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So
Right.
we're going to sue the living shit out of the state, and we're going to keep suing you if you're listening, Commission, until we
Gloves are off, guys.
until we get all our
Gloves are
hunting
off.
rights back. So
Here we
just,
come.
Just heads up, it's
Right.
coming, and we're not going to quit. So
We'll blow this place up.
yeah,
Nope. We could just be putting money in a fund for the rest of our life just to keep suing.
yeah. It's like I put money in my retirement fund. And hunting is like retirement for me, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep pumping money every month, every
Well-
2 weeks, every week. So September 12th, Skookum Brewery, 5:30 to 8:30. We would love to see you. Please come out. Please support. Bring your wallets if you want to hunt. If you want your kids to hunt. If you care anything about the outdoors, we would love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's switch
Moving
gears.
on to fun stuff.
Moving on to the good stuff.
So
Yep.
I got some questions,
Oh,
but
So let's move on to some stories, right?
Chris, why don't you start your dad off with like a good story that sticks out to you that the listeners would want to hear?
well, I would say people who know me know growing up. So my dad runs his own construction company, and I'm the son of a brick mason. That's why I'm just so young and strapping looking, and it doesn't look like I'm 100 years old because I was child labor most of my life, which I was.
I didn't start until he was 8 years old. Come
Yeah.
on.
Which is awesome, by the
Oh,
way.
8. I was
Yes.
like 4 or 5, Dad.
Start by throwing them under the bus that
Yeah.
soon, huh? Right
Yeah.
at the get-go.
The rock crying story when I smashed my finger, I think I was 4 or 5 because I was the size of James when I was 4 years old, and that's not an exaggeration. So the thing is, like, I didn't hunt a lot when I was a kid because I worked all the time. Like summers I worked with my dad, and my dad worked every day. He works 7 days a week. There's a reason I have 3 jobs and I work 7 days a week. It's because I do what my dad does. My dad works every day, and my dad's 70 years old.
70 years old. Still
And he
working.
works every day,
Yep.
But now that we've got a little older and I've become a bad influence, we hunt a lot more, right? A lot, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. So we've been on some pretty darn good hunts. We've been all over. We've been to South Africa together. We've been to Montana.
You guys just went to Alberta.
Yeah, we just went to Alberta on a bear hunt. which was super fun. We brought our cameraman Tayshawn up there, and luckily.
What up, T?
Yeah, T didn't get any of my stuff on camera, but he got my dad's. So you guys are going to see some footage of that. It's going to be really, really good.
And the quinault hunt is almost done, guys.
Yep, Doug's working on that. That's going to be good.
Yeah, that one will come out first. The film's not going to come out for a while.
That's definitely one you got to go on next year, Dad. That was fun. The quinault hunt.
Yeah.
It's super low key. Our guide was awesome.
We should all go. Just
We
all start
should.
saving up now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all going.
Yeah. The difference in guides for me, like, I think not being a seasoned professional, I mean, I guided, but I haven't been on guided hunts, right?
Right.
So going to someone's camp and expecting, like, I don't know, you watch all the crap on TV, you see all the shit on Instagram, like, oh, look at this, everything's great, and look at this, and they got ribeyes, and this, and this,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, the food in Alberta was incredible. It was really good. Like,
We
they
had
treated
two
us
good
really
cooks.
good.
Yeah.
The
Two
cooks
old
were
gals,
incredible.
man. They were great.
And I mean, we shot bears, but you know, I don't know how deep we want to get into that, but you know, there were some parts that was like,
If you guys are feeling up to it, go ahead and just let her have it.
like, you know, so we have different expectations. Like, my dad and I, we eat everything we shoot, right?
Yeah.
Like, I won't kill a spider. I'll put it outside because spiders taste like shit. I don't want to eat them. So,
They kill mosquitoes.
yeah, and they kill mosquitoes. Yeah, and I freaking hate mosquitoes.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
I will kill the
I will
shit out
kill
of some
the
mosquitoes,
shit.
though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I make some exceptions for, like, mosquitoes, ticks.
Draw the line.
So, anyways, I had the conversation with the outfitter, like, hey, we're gonna drive up. We're gonna bring a cargo trailer with all these coolers because we're gonna bring the meat back. And he's like, oh, no one brings the meat back. I'm like, whoa.
Which is
Wait, what?
So bizarre to me.
It's super bizarre.
Yeah.
And these aren't grizzly bears; they're black bears. We're going,
Black bears,
you know,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and they're inland. It's not like they're out eating
No,
stinky
no,
fish
right.
They're
and
not
like,
fish eaters. No.
yeah.
Right.
So it didn't make sense to me. So I'm like, well, no, we're gonna spend. It was like a 19-hour drive or something like that. I mean,
19 hours up there, yeah.
it sucked. It was a long ass drive. So, anyways, we drive up there. We finally get there, and the guy at the right out the gate, guy was super nice. And we were getting along well, and then you start to see things that, like, how I would run. And now, to be fair, I don't have a guiding business, right? I used to guide people. I don't anymore, just because it's a lot of work. It's not, you know, it doesn't pay for all this stuff.
That much fun.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not that much fun. I want to do it for myself. Like, I want to
Right.
be selfish. I want to hunt,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I think that it was at the end of the season. The guy was done, right? You could tell, like,
Right.
he wanted to go back
He
to his
wanted to go
regular
back
job.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
wanted to go back home.
And
He didn't want to be there.
Well, they've been hammering bears all freaking.
oh yeah,
spring
he
long,
he
right?
sent me
You know?
he sent me pictures of the bears he had shot before, and they'd shot, like, I don't remember how many bears they shot. A lot.
A lot of bears.
It's like 12, 15, 17. A lot of bears.
yeah.
And so we're like, holy shit, are there going to be any bears left, right?
Yeah. I know
And we
we've
did,
talked
and we
about
did
that.
go there. My dad shot a friggin'. Well, he shot 2 bears. I shot 2 bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
My cinnamon.
yeah,
My lifelong dream of a bear with cinnamon.
That's pretty cool.
we're going to tell that story in a minute. We are going to tell that story in a minute. But I just, the disappointing part was, like, I went there for meat. I lost all my meat.
Why did you lose all the meat? What happened?
Is it too close? Can you see my?
No, I can just tell.
Okay.
You're gonna be super loud compared to everyone else.
I know. I'm just. I'm angry. This is my angry voice. September 12th, Skookum, 5:30, 8:30.
We're gonna give it to him.
Sue the shit out of this state.
Yeah.
It was just really surprising that, like, the care that they take of the animals. So, like, if you guys are watching, and if anyone has ever been to my property, they know that I have a natural history museum. I mount everything. James and I just had this conversation where my taxidermist is going to retire probably in about 6 months if I keep it up. The amount of life-size animals that he has is pretty astounding. Don't tell my wife, but. I mount everything. I eat everything. I do everything I can with the animal. I don't waste anything. And we would shoot the bears, and they wouldn't get to him till the next day. Right? They didn't gut them. They didn't do anything, and which is really weird to me.
Yeah.
But again, I'm the client. It's not my outfit, So I'm just like, oh, well, maybe he obviously knows what he's doing. He's probably shot hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That was your first mistake.
yeah, and so
It's like you're not new.
Right.
yeah, I mean, I've
you
shot a few things. Yeah,
You should have just
You know.
instantly like red flag here.
so
I'm getting my bear. Like I
Get
just paid.
that hide off now.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way I'm going to bed knowing that there's a down
But
bear.
yeah, like
you know.
Chris is saying, like
I get it.
I'm
he's
trying
probably
to-
thinking,
it's-
well, maybe they have a different way of doing that. I don't
So
know.
maybe they have a
because
secret
I'm
crew
not
that goes out there and
professional.
gets it, right?
yeah, and that's the thing is like I'm not a seasoned veteran on the guided hunt circuit,
Right.
I haven't done this a lot. I
Yeah.
don't know, and I'm trying not to. I don't.
You're trying to be a good client.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go step on someone else's toes and be like, oh, look at me, I've shot all this
Yeah,
stuff, and I
'cause you've been there, done that. And
Yeah.
you're trying not to be that guy.
and I don't want to be a jerk, so I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just going to
Yeah.
sit here and it's fine because he knows what he's doing.
Sit here and kick rocks.
Yeah. So I just let him do his thing on everyone's bears. There's a bunch of bears shot. Long story short, we probably lost, I don't know, 90% of our meat
Yeah.
across the board. We shot, how many bears did we shoot?
9 bear.
Yeah. So we got 9 bears. We come back. We lost almost all our meat for everybody. And we're talking, as soon as we got it, then it was warm, you could tell. So what happened was he had these tiny little chest freezers, and he just would take all the meat, quarter it up, put it in bags, throw it in the chest freezer on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. There's no air movement,
man.
right?
Yeah,
and you
that's
so
not
have
good.
this, you have this 500-600 pound mass
Yeah.
that's just holding all this heat with no air movement, even though it's in a chest freezer. It's never, it would take, 2 months to get cold in the middle. So
Yeah.
long story short, it spoiled. And then the same thing happened with our hides. Like our good buddy Matt Russell lost all the hair pulled out, like from the ear, down to the shoulder, all the way around. They left the skulls in. They didn't cape them all the way out, which, again, like I'm not an expert here. I don't know how they do it. I usually cape everything out because it's easier to cool your hide out,
Right.
Yeah.
And he lost that. I had some hair slip on one of my bears. Matt had some, I think on his second bear he had some slip. Brent Thiel had some hair slip on his. So we just had a lot of really disappointing stuff. And the worst part about it was that I told the guy, and I feel like I was very Switzerland about it, right? I was just like, hey man, this happened.
Yeah.
And
Leaving
just
the ball
wait,
in his
and
court to see
not
what-
like, hey,
yeah.
you did this. Obviously, you're the outfitter. It's your fault. And then just wait and see what he says. Not one time did he apologize. Not one time did he try and make amends. I mean, and I'm not asking for money back. I'm not asking for a free hunt. Like, just a single sorry would have been great. I mean, we're talking like thousands of pounds of meat that we hauled back, And same thing with the hides, like, a bear, and we're talking, we caped them all out for life size, so 9 bears,
Right.
average $5,000 a pop for life size, we're $45,000, $50,000 after tax, into taxidermy. And if you could imagine that amount of money, amplify it times all the money that we spent to go up there, all the money we spent him in trophy fees, and
I don't get, if you're an outfitter up there, why you wouldn't take a little bit more pride in that.
yeah,
Like, what are your clients really coming up there for?
it was really disappointing because
Yeah.
we hired Tayshawn to go up
Doesn't make any
too,
sense to
right?
me.
Yeah, brought a cameraman.
Yeah, we paid
Yeah.
so I paid Tayshawn's daily fees up there
Yeah, 'cause
too,
you gotta
right?
pay for him too.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then we're
like,
paying
you
him-
would think they would.
Like, hey, we have a professional cameraman that came up. He has all his camera equipment, did interviews with him, and did all this stuff. And we're trying to help their business out,
This
And-
is not helping their business.
And I'm
out.
not gonna lie, the guy absolutely shit the bed. I mean, 100%. Like, you could not have shit the bed anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe punch me in the face. That would have been
they're
like.
good guys, but they just.
I don't think he was a bad guy at all. Yeah.
Business wise, they just.
Right.
I mean, you have one job, right? And that's
Right.
that's bear hunting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you shit the bed on the bear hunting. Like,
Yeah.
now don't get me wrong. Like, yeah,
You guys
I
killed bears.
I killed bears, but
Yeah, come on.
That's not where the hunt stops, though. That's where the
yeah,
that's where
Right.
the beginning is. you
Right.
know?
and
Exactly.
and I saw 3 bears while I was there. So the whole time I was there, I saw 3 bears. One was tiny and rubbed out. and I didn't shoot that. The other 2, I probably had total time on target. I'm talking like opportunity-wise, I probably had 7 seconds to shoot 2 bears, start to finish. And I killed 2 bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
You redeemed yourself from last year.
Oh, huge. Big time. That 470 Nitro Express was hammer time, dude.
I mean, you already got 3 already. I mean,
Yeah, I'm 3 bears into
Yeah.
the season because I got one in the spring on the Quinault.
yeah. that
Suck
was
it, Washington State
yeah.
fishing game.
Lorna Smith.
Yeah, commission. Not the It's not the fishing game. It's a commission. Fishing game. There's some good people there. Our commission. Yeah, there's a couple good people there. The vast majority of them are crap.
Yeah.
But so, that was a bum deal.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned. I paid the money, and we ate it.
Had an experience.
Yeah,
And experiences are,
but I think the
Time
good thing
doesn't.
was I got to go with my dad.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, Dad, I'm going to hand it over to you. Let's talk about we went out, first bait.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about the cinnamon bear
Yeah.
and how that played out.
Yeah.
'cause did you didn't talk about that one, did you?
No.
No, you saved that for this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We saved it
Ooh.
specifically
We
for
saved
It's all
this
open.
one, guys.
So, Dad, give us a spiel, start to finish.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
You start wherever you want.
Oh, we've
So
got
was
it.
this
We-
the
we
first
ju-
or second bear?
This first bear.
The first bear. Okay.
First bear. Well, we just got into camp. Got into camp about noon. Held by teat, and the PH came over and asked us if we wanted to go out that evening. We said, "Yeah, we want to go out. We're here to hunt bear.
Right.
We want to go see some bear."
Yeah.
Let's go.
So before we left,
We're here for one thing only.
Before we left, the 5 of us were all standing around. And I says, "Okay, I got to tell you about a dream I had." Kris looks at me and goes, "Oh, here we go. Dad and his dreams." And I says, "No, seriously, guys." I says, "I had a dream last night that we're in the blind. Me and Kris were in the blind, and my dream bear, which I've always wanted to get a cinnamon bear, came in, sniffed the bait, and stood up and turned right at us, and I drilled it with my crossbow." And he says, "Okay, Dad, nice dream. Let's go hunt." So we get on the buggies. We get out there in the blind. And they're all kind of all natural blind. We're not up in trees. or
Right,
anything.
yeah.
So we're real close to the bears. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Where's-
close
I mean,
encounters.
Super
very,
close.
very
Super
close. I
close.
mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there was a couple of times they came up to us and sniffed us.
Yeah.
I mean, it was real close.
4 feet, I think, was
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
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 And so we're in the blind, and we sat there about 3.5 hours. Starting to get dark, getting close to quitting time. And I thought, well, I guess it's just going to be a bust tonight. And all of a sudden, Kris grabs my arm and he says, "Oh my God, Dad, it's your dream bear." And I turned, I couldn't believe it. Here was this cinnamon bear coming right up to the bait.
Wow.
My heart is thumping, about ready to pop out of my chest. And the thing turns and sniffs us and stands up about maybe 20 yards away.
Gosh, those
Yeah.
Those are so
about-
good, man.
About 20
Yeah.
yards away. And he turns around and looks right at us. And I'm trying not to shake, and I get the crossbow. And I thought I made a perfect shot. It was a little low, and the thing runs off. We get it on film. We're all excited. And we're going to be good clients, so they told us to stay in the blind if we get anything down. So we're sitting in the blind, put a call in, we got a bear. So about a half hour later they came, and it's dark now.
Yeah.
So we follow blood, and the guy says, "Look," he says, "it's really getting dark." He says, "It's getting cold." So it was cold that night, and he says, "We're just going to go back to camp. It's down. It could be 20 yards away. We don't know, but we'll come back in the morning and get it." And your heart drops because you always have that
Yeah.
feeling. If you've hunted, you always
Yeah.
have that feeling that, okay, I did hit it, but did I get it good enough?
Mm-hmm.
You
So-
always
It's
always
wanna
the
get
worst
after
night's
it.
sleep
It
you'll
is.
ever
It's
get.
the
You'll
worst.
never
You
get
can't
any
sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
You can't get any sleep. So
You're the
I
first
get up.
one. You're first one up.
I get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Nobody gets up till 8.
Yep.
And
like, let's go.
The cooks come out about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and they're making coffee. And he says, "What are you doing up?" I says, "I couldn't sleep. I got to go get my bear."
Yeah.
So we leave about 8:30, and we get up to the woods, and Kris walks right over to the spot where we stopped looking, and we look around. 5 minutes later, there it was, 20 yards away.
Nice.
So we got the bear.
Sweet.
So that was exciting.
And it was like a true cinnamon. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was, it was just a beautiful.
And
Stunner.
Wasn't that the only color phase bear you guys got?
Yeah, the
it
only
was.
one was anyone saw.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Everything else was what?
Jet black.
Jet
Jet
black.
blacks.
Yeah.
All blacks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the pictures that you guys sent me, even the ones that were on the bait, were all jet black.
All
And
black, yeah.
And the part that he left out. So we're sitting there.
The part he left out.
The part he left out.
The spicy stuff.
The
right,
spicy
Kris?
stuff. So we're sitting there.
That's what Kris is for.
Imagine we're sitting in a blind like the size of a pop can. It's a ground blind. There's a bunch of brush and shit. Well, we only have 2 chairs. So it's me and my dad.
Yeah.
But then we got T, the cameraman,
I remember you telling me
sitting
about
behind
this.
us, right?
Outside the blind?
No, so he's in the blind.
In the
but
blind
not
with
in a
us.
chair.
He doesn't have a chair, and he has his camera. And again, like T's, he's not a big man. He's a little guy, right?
He's a little guy.
So he's laying on the ground, but he's like the whole time it's like, like a squirrel.
He's like a squirrel underneath the shell.
Yeah,
The
and
guy
I keep
is always eating something.
and I keep looking back. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, shut up, man. And so when this bear comes in, and I reach over and I tell my dad, and he's on it, and when he pull up his crossbow. It's a 10-point. It's an aluminum crossbow, and he flicks his safety off. And I swear to God, it sounded like you took 2 aluminum sticks and just banged them together as loud as you could. All he did was flick the safety off. That was it. And this freaking bear, boom, is out.
That's right.
I mean, barreling through the woods, and I'm like, son of a bitch,
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, what happened? I'm
Same
like,
bear.
so right when he walked in, yeah,
when he walked
the first
in.
time we
First
saw him,
time?
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he barrels off into the woods, and I'm like, yes, freaking gone. He's gone. And my dad's like, what happened? And I'm like, your safety's so loud, And he's like, what did I just turn the safety off, And I'm just like, And so we're sitting there, and I'm like, that bear's not coming back. He knows we're there. And so when he does come back, he like materializes out of nowhere. You don't hear a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a ninja bear, right? Well, he comes around, and he knows sure as shit that we're there, right?
Yeah.
And so he comes around the bait, and there's a couple little trees right to our left. So my dad's sitting on my left, I'm sitting on the right. I can see a little better than he can because there's a little bit of a hill, right? Look, hill, little trees, and it goes down, and the bait's right behind there, right? And this bear comes right behind these trees, and is sniffing, and you can just see the top of his head, and he comes around on the backside of that hill and freaking stands up
right
on his
up.
back legs like 12 yards.
Oh, man.
I mean, like
Like,
he is.
all he said was, please shoot me.
Yeah, and he's looking, and you see, and he's got a V, right?
Oh, yeah.
On his,
Oh, man.
just a beautiful.
It's always a
freaking
good
bear.
target.
Just a nice target.
Yeah.
And he already has a safety off, and he pulls up and just freaking pounds this bear, and it was incredible. But when he ran off the first time, I thought for sure I was like, "Son of a, he's not coming
He's
back."
not
Yeah.
coming back. Yeah.
And he did, and he freaking
Well,
hammered him.
apparently, whatever they were putting out, them bears, they wanted it bad.
Yeah.
Was it the beavers or
So
whatever that?
we had our guide specifically, so not the guy who owned the outfit, but we had a guy. What the hell was that guy's? Rod.
Yeah.
So Rod made this so you can obviously we're hunting bait, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're up in East Jesus, Alberta, and he has this spray bottle.
Everywhere's East Jesus.
Yeah, I mean it is deep. It is
We're way out there.
like if you roll an ankle, you may die.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at.
It's going to be a while before you can get back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Civilization.
Been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
Jim?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember because he took my dad and T in first, and then I was the last one to go in, and he takes you in on a four-wheeler to the blind, right? And we're going in, and I mean it was a pretty good jaunt, right? And we're coming through, and where we actually end up finding his bear, there was a kind of like a little creek river bottom, and we get to it, and the blind's still a ways off, right? And I go, man, what's that smell? Man, that smells good. He goes, that's my bait. And I'm like, well, no bait smells that good. I mean, it smelled like fresh caramel in the air. I mean, it was. I mean, made my mouth water. That's how good it was. And
Really?
we're I mean, hundreds and hundreds of yards away through the woods, right?
Right.
And so we go out, and he puts us in this blind, and he had this bottle, like a spray bottle, and he would spray all the trees with some special concoction that he made, and the smell was intoxicating. I mean,
Like caramel?
like caramel, like the sweetest, like pure sugary,
Probably
caramely,
vanilla.
burnt buttery, like
Probably vanilla.
but it was his own special thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can." This is like, so the guy we went with, Corey Crane, he's like, "Hey man, smell this. Smells just like rods." And I'm like, I smell it, and I'm like, it smells like butterscotch. Doesn't smell like rods, dude. It's by the way, it's a spot on Corey Crane impression.
That's right.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. But that's a talks like he gargles with gravel. It's pretty bad.
Gravelly voice.
Yeah, he's all man.
Yeah.
Oh, that is man.
But then, then we go on a hunt. I shoot 2 bears, and then because I shoot 2 bears like minutes apart, right?
Yeah.
So I'm bang bang, I'm done, right? And then
And it wasn't like that was a hard one to find.
no.
Hammered him
Yeah.
with a big old
Just a 470 Nitro Express.
Yeah.
the whammo bammo, that bear dead.
And unfortunately, T didn't get it on footage, but I think my dad can attest this. It was Western as shit.
It was definitely Western.
I mean, it was just like,
There's
there's
no
a
doubt
bear.
You had to be having the camera rolling like the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Reality TV show style.
Yeah.
We're looking at the blind, or we're looking out of the blind, and we're looking at the bait here. And I shot the bear, if the blind was 12 o'clock, I shot the bear at 7 o'clock, back behind me over my left shoulder. And people who know me know that I don't bend because I'm all metal, right? And so I take my 470 out of the tripod, swing it all the way around, find a 12-inch window through the woods, and just friggin' plaster this bear. And this bear went all of however far a bear falls to the ground. That's how far it went.
That's one thing we didn't really cover during the other spring bear stuff was what was the impact like? So was it a big hole like you would imagine, or was it
It didn't. I don't think it was a big hole. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a lot on the one on the road. There was a lot of blood.
Did it go all the way through it?
Yeah, 100%.
both shots?
Yeah, both shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even at the distance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one was probably 70, 75 yards maybe.
And
the other
just
one was
dropped it, right?
Yeah, and that one just lights out.
Dropped
Yeah.
it.
I punched it through both shoulders, and that was it.
Oh, so
That's
you went
good.
through the shoulders too? Oh,
Yeah.
that bear wasn't going
that's
anywhere.
good to
Yeah.
know.
And then the second bear, when I walked back, I shot it in the crease, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was quartering towards me just a little bit, and I shot it on the onside crease, and it went all the way through the bear and exited out by the back leg, and just,
It was done. Yeah.
I mean, it ran.
But it didn't like everyone's like, oh, that's gonna blow a football size hole.
No, not at all.
No.
No.
It just punched a hole right through it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for how much weight you got, it's going to blow right through it.
Right.
And it's not moving that fast too, right? It's
No,
like,
it's
So
just
that's
a
why. It's because
big
it's
bullet.
a big, slow
Slow.
moving bullet, and it's
Yeah.
just gonna go and do its
Yeah.
thing. Like a 300 Ultra Mag with a bajillion foot-pounds of energy behind it just explodes.
right,
You
yeah.
just have
That's
this,
well, Jim, you got to think about it. It's all on the bullet.
yeah.
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 Well, the
A lot
bullet, too.
There's a lot of bullets that are really fast,
Mm-hmm.
and they exert all their energy as soon as they impact. There's also a lot of bullets that are meant to just go right through shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Straight
know?
through. So
Yeah.
the answer, people, is it's not as bad as you think it is.
We'll definitely have a bullet gun conversation, I think. One of these
100%.
episodes. Yeah.
I can't wait to shoot a bear with the 460.
Oh, it's gonna be the bee's knees. Yeah.
So we all have these goals. Doug wants to shoot a bear with his 460.
Doug
that
got
I
a brand
just got.
a brand new 460 Smith and
I
Wesson
want to
handgun.
shoot a bear with a 30-30 Thompson Center handgun.
You need to carry your 44.
That too. That would
I
be
think we
cool,
should
too.
all carry our big pistols.
Revolver only hunt.
Yeah. we
So
all got big enough ones to do it.
to touch on that, the one that James was just talking about, that was my dad's gun, his handgun, and it's a Thompson Center. It's a contender, and it had a 30-30, I think a 44 mag barrel,
And a 45.
and a 45.
Yeah. Long coat.
And
I haven't switched any of those barrels out because I haven't.
but the 30-30, I mean, it shoots lights out.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, when I
Oh,
shot it was 100 yards and hitting a 2-inch cube.
It's got a picture of a cougar on it.
Oh, dude, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Bitchin'.
So almost as good as that cinnamon bear, because that cinnamon bear was awesome. And then us finding it the next day, and it was literally like my dad's. It was 20 yards. And
At least it wasn't like a long, drawn out, oh, where's this bear at? It was
Right.
immediately you're right on
Right
it.
on it, yeah.
and you
yeah.
can-
Yeah.
Well, we go there, and again, we've all hunted a bunch, right? You know, and I've shot enough bears and I've shot enough critters to know, like, okay, if I was a critter, where would I go? You know, and there was like this little kind of dried up creek bed, and it went kind of through the timber, and I was like, but you couldn't see any blood. There was no blood.
Yeah.
Right. It just like
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
A lot of
And I was like,
did it rain that night or just stopped?
no, it didn't rain.
No,
No.
Stopped.
Yeah, it just stopped, right? So when we were tracking it, it went up the hill, it went down, it cut an old skidder road, and we follow it down, and you could see like he hit it just a little bit low to where it cut like that caul fat sack,
Right.
and it was blowing out hunks of caul fat, and so we're trying to figure out like what that. Like at first I looked, I was like, what is this?
What
You know,
is this?
Yeah.
and then you figure it out. Well, I think that caul fat clogged it up, right?
Yeah.
And so he didn't go very far, but so he had walked up that dry creek bed and then just bailed off like 5 yards off of that. But it was in the timber and you couldn't see it. It was little tiny pecker poles in it. So I'm sneaking up and I'm like, oh, he's right there. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
shit.
call fat.
Call fat, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
stuffed it
bears
up
in
real
general,
quick.
they don't bleed a lot unless you really,
No.
really do some damage.
You have to really hammer them.
I just had that conversation in the gun shop with a guy.
The wounds close up.
Yeah, he's a young hunter and he's going bear hunting. He missed a bear last year in Idaho, and he's super excited to get out. He got a new gun. We got him all dialed in. Put a Leupold VX5 on it. Like
Classic.
dude, dialed. Like this thing is itty bitty tiny little Christensen arms, like 308, and really good dude. Levi
I like him even more since he's
shooting a 308. I knew you would. Left-handed too, by the way. And so
Put a VX5 on a 308.
yeah, a little three, but
Attaboy.
it's
Wow.
so the VX5 is a 3 to 15 by 44, and it's like 19 ounces. I mean, it's like one of the lightest, weight to
Oh,
power ratio
man.
scopes. It's a beautiful scope.
That's
So,
one of my
anyways,
favorite
he goes, yeah, I'm
Thank
really
you,
excited.
Leupold.
Yeah,
That's some good stuff.
thanks, Leupold. He goes, I'm excited to go out. And he's telling me about a story about how his buddy shot a bear. And I go, how many times did he shoot it? He goes, shot it once. I go, there's your problem right there. Because they end up not finding the bear. And the problem is, when you shoot a bear, you keep shooting a bear. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you do what I did in the Quinault, which you'll see here shortly on the video. I shot it in the face on purpose, by the way. There's zero track job when you shoot him in the face. It falls from like
It was
shoulder
a really
height
hard editing job.
to ground height. Yeah. And but that's sage advice if you're going to be a bear hunter.
Yeah.
Shoot
Well,
it.
And a lot of people, it's like instinctual. If you think you put a good shot on an animal, just to not, you don't just go,
Yeah.
okay, just let it die.
Yeah.
But with bears, I'd say that's the exception. Just keep putting holes in
They're
it.
so hard to track.
Yeah,
The
they're hard to
fat
track.
closes up both sides, especially a fall bear. They won't bleed.
Mm-hmm.
They die in the most awkward spots. You will not find them.
They're tough too.
If
They're
it-
super tough.
If it moves and you can get another shot on it, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
If
Yeah.
it drops right there,
Yeah.
most likely.
If you don't shoot them in the
probably
face, keep
dead.
shooting them.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Pro tip.
Pro
If
tip.
it doesn't drop in his tracks, just
Speaking
keep
of,
shooting
that parlays perfectly to our next story with my dad on his second bear
in Alberta.
in Alberta.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the
So do tell.
our last day of the hunt.
Yeah.
Almost down to the last hour.
Yeah.
I figured, well, I'm just going to get my cinnamon. I'll be happy with that, And right before we called it a night, not the biggest black I've ever shot, but a nice bear came in, and I says, well, I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And I told Kris, I says, get your gun ready. You're going to back me up on this because we don't want to track it. It's getting dark. So
Just put it down.
so I shot across, and it almost spined it. I shot a little high, and then it turned and started running, and Kris just busted it. I mean, that thing just rolled over, and that was it. So we had about a 10-yard tracking job.
Right. Yeah. And when he shot this thing, he shot it with his crossbow, and this thing turned like a freaking lightning bolt and came straight at us. And I was
Straight
like,
at us,
and I literally, we're sitting in the blind. He's on my right, and the bear's kind of running to our left, and I got a tree, and so I literally I'm like my dad's quick on the trigger too. All right,
I've
so
always been quick on the trigger.
I'm like, Dad, there's a bear. Let's wait for a good shot. And he's like, bang, yeah, all right, So he shoots, hits this bear, and this bear turns and starts coming at us. And I can't even explain how fast. I mean, it was so fast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like a
blur.
instant.
Just
And so I literally, as fast as I get on my gun, and I'm like, "Roar," you can imagine like slow motion, "Roar, sure," and like,
Yeah, in your own head and in your own vision, you're seeing slow motion, but this
Yeah.
is like instantaneous.
it's like the shots were, you'll see it because T got this on
Yeah.
camera. It was just like
Bang,
bang,
bang.
bang.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he shoots, I get on the gun, I'm shouldering, I'm pivoting, and I just get it on the black, and I touch off, boom, 479
And this
Jokes
thing
Brothers.
just rolls.
Yeah,
That was it.
and I'm just like, oh shit, like, what just happened?
Yeah.
It was so fast, and it was a nice bear. It was a nice
yeah,
black
it was
bear.
a nice bear.
Yeah,
I was happy with it.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and it was like you said, last minute. I mean,
Memories like that are always the exciting ones.
and the best part was like, well, I guess it was literally right next to where the quad pulls up, and
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
well, I wish we had a beer,
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Crack one right now.
yeah. No, it was awesome.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm so pumped. So bear season's on the way, guys.
Yep, we're getting ready for our trip.
We're getting
Yeah.
ready. I was over at the cabin just last weekend, and it's gonna be really good. I can't wait. Cabin's gonna be packed.
Oh yeah, we got a
The
full house.
growth is like right on the money.
How are the berries looking though, Doug?
The berries are perfect, Jim.
Right on track.
Yeah,
Perfect.
100%. They were like not quite right, but those were also the ones that were right in the sun too. And as you know, when it gets hot, the bears they like to stay in the thick shit, and they always are hammering those ones in the deep stuff because they don't come out. Because I didn't see any bears when I was over there, but we all know that they're there.
Oh yeah, and then as soon as we get over there, probably when the berries are at peak ripeness, we're gonna be knocking bears down every
It's
day.
gonna be right at the peak. For some reason, I think that last week of August is the money week.
Yeah, it varies.
It's a
from
give
year
or
to year.
take,
Yeah.
but I think this is gonna be like right on the money. Last year we were a little late.
Yep, everything burned out earlier.
This year I think we're gonna be right on the money.
Yeah, back when I was younger, it used to be the first week of September.
Yeah, so it was like
That's usually when it
later.
was really good.
Yeah,
But then it's
But
kind of
also-
just kept going back.
yeah. But didn't it? I can't remember when did it switch to August 1st.
A couple years ago, I think it was like no,
I
it's
think
more
a
than
couple-
that
is it
now.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah, probably four or 5 years now.
Yeah, where
It's
it
been like
switched to
that?
August 1st.
Yeah, because it used to be like September.
Who knows after this year when it's gonna be?
Right
Oh.
around when Lemcool gave you that second bear tag all by himself. That time?
Yeah, about that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, that guy's a joke.
Google that one.
Dude.
Oh boy.
I had a
Anyway.
question for you. So when you started hunting, you were young, right?
I was 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were saying you got your first deer with a 30-30.
30 when I was 16 years old.
Nice.
Yep.
So did your parents hunt, or your dad, or?
My dad didn't hunt. A good buddy of mine that I hung with, Mikey, he's the one that got me into hunting. He was originally from Washington State and moved down to California when he was 13. And that's when we started, he was just a neighbor of mine, started hanging around, and he got me into hunting. And my folks didn't really care if I hunted or not. And they weren't too keen at that point, having a lot of guns in the house.
Yeah.
But
Classic Californian.
classic Californian. But
Classic
back in the
California.
60s, 70s was a little different story. It's not
Yeah.
not nearly like it is today.
Right.
And I just don't want to see Washington State turn into a California.
Well,
And we're heading that way.
we're
It's-
definitely
it's-
heading
it's-
down that
it's a
road.
shame.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because they used to have some phenomenal hunting in California.
Mm-hmm.
With the elk population, the Tule herd that was up north.
Yep.
We used to hunt in Whiskey Ridge. That's where I got my first deer.
Wow.
And we'd go out and camp, bunch of 16-year-old kids. It'd be 3 or 4 of us,
That's just
and
so wild.
we'd go up there and we'd hunt for a weekend, and we'd come back with 3 or 4 deer.
Wow.
I mean, they were plentiful. You could always see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always a great time. We were always safe. We felt like we were safe, But in today's world, it's a whole different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
The families don't get out like they used to, and
Right.
they need to. They need to teach their kids about the safety of hunting and the proper use of guns and how to hunt
Mm-hmm.
and how to go out with a family. That's what
Right.
it's all about.
Yeah, we've 100% been like that. I grew up.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
we
pretty
did.
much what it was like. Every hunting season was, and going on a trip was a hunting camp with the family.
Right.
Yep. Uncles and dads and sons and
It
cousins
wasn't
and-
just like one person that we really learned how to hunt. It
Yeah.
was the whole family experience that we
right.
got to learn how to do
Right.
it right.
Right.
and someone was always watching over, making sure we weren't doing something stupid. Your dad would always yell at me about gun safety. Or
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy.
I was always pretty good. It was
yeah.
mostly David would get yelled at.
I mean, we're trying to do it right, but
Right.
we're also young and
Mm-hmm.
don't really know what we're doing. We're just trying to have fun too. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
you
it
don't
ain't-
see a lot of that anymore,
No,
like
you
the
don't.
big family camps and
No.
stuff.
Yeah, you don't. You
And
don't.
it used to be a thing. Like that's what hunting camp meant, was a big family camp usually.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, a group of guys that would get together
Yeah,
and they'd
your-
have a
your
camp.
buddies.
I feel like that's just like a dying thing, and I don't know if it's like a generational thing or if it's just like a new social thing, but a lot of like hunters are like either hunting in small groups, like
Or
with
it's
just
just about
one other
themself.
guy, or they're by themselves.
Right.
Like a lot of the shows you see now are like
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
geared
just-
towards like backpack
just
hunting
them,
or
yeah.
like and I mean, I know us personally, we're still trying to keep that tradition alive of like a group of guys hunting,
Right.
and we don't all go trampling in the same area and stuff, but we like that
No.
camaraderie
Right.
and like
Right.
the experience of it.
It's
and,
always fun when someone brings something back to camp, and
Yeah.
everyone's a part of it.
Right.
I think
Right.
there's some people. James and I just had this conversation because he sent me a video, and it breaks my heart because he shares the last name with one of my very, very good internet friends, Stephen Ranella.
yeah.
Old Matt Ranella is he's just an unreal codger, and he's not even old. Like he's just like. He just wants everything for himself, and he doesn't want to share anything,
Yeah.
And I don't know him personally.
I know enough to know that.
It just, I've heard him talk
Yeah.
multiple times, and I feel like Steven really is. I feel like he tries to like the family and get hunters involved and new hunters and Matt's like, we gotta keep hunting all to ourselves, and we don't need any more hunters, and like, dude, are you on drugs? Like, dude, we don't have enough hunters. Like,
Right.
we need more people in the woods, and like,
Right.
if you don't like
We
someone
need
in your
more people
spot,
in the woods that know what they're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
There's so many people out there that just don't know.
Proper hunting etiquette. Go
Well,
back to one of our-
maybe
Yeah,
guys
go
like
back
Matt.
to one of our episodes.
Yeah,
and do
maybe
that.
Matt Ranella should go out and like start teaching some classes and helping some people out.
Right.
I
Or maybe he should listen to our episode that we did, our podcast on hunting etiquette.
yeah, I'm like, I just think that like, I don't know. I almost feel bad. My dad's super good at it. Like he takes my nephew, Deshaun, like he grew up without a dad, right? So he didn't have that father figure in his life to teach him like, hey, this is what you do, and take you hunting and do this and do that. And I think I was so focused with work and my own family where I didn't help out enough. And I feel like you need like, a lot of people don't have that father figure or
Right.
grandpa or whatever in your life to teach you like, hey, you should go out and you should do this, and this is good and this is okay, and it's not bad, and even if it's with a gun, like guns aren't bad,
Right.
Right.
Like-
Well, I mean, that's pretty much how we came up. We were taught by our dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And if you don't have that, then
Yeah.
it's. I can only imagine being a young man who wanted to get into hunting and not having someone to
to
guide
take
them
you
into
out
it.
there,
It would
yeah.
be so daunting.
It's
Right.
such a hard thing to get into if you don't
Right.
know what you're doing.
So
because
that's why I take a special keen interest to these young hunters, especially the ones that follow us,
yeah.
Mhm.
that are first generation guys, and they ask questions, and they're very, and they're intrigued by what we're doing and stuff. And I try to help those guys as much as I can, because I could only imagine getting into it and being like, I'm going to go bear hunting.
Yeah.
And then just being like, what do I do now?
Yeah. What does that look like?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I
to
have
it
a gun.
Yeah.
because I've hung out with a lot of guys and taken some guys over to Eastern Washington to kind of show them what it's like, and you just realize that we have that natural instinct when we're over there, the timing of stuff, right?
Right.
That they don't know when to be quiet or when
Right.
to like be kind of a little bit like slow moving and kind of like take your time or this and that. It's just you have this special feeling, and it's like it's hard to teach that.
Right.
It is.
Because we've been doing it for so long, it's just a natural instinct for us to do that. And I see it more and more often when I hang out with, guys that have never done that before.
Right.
Like T, eating his snacks. Being all noisy. Talking to you, T. Quit being so noisy, eating your snacks, T. T's a good guy.
Hunting's really hard. Like
It is.
You literally suffer.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, if you don't know, you don't
Physical?
know.
Yeah,
You know?
it's super physical, and you push your body to the limits. You try not to eat very much because you don't want to be noisy.
Right. Right.
Who
Every
is every
the guy
little
on
thing.
Prince Wales Island that we met over when we were hunting over in Prince Wales Island for black bear, and the guy that was like a mountain goat.
Oh,
What was his name?
Yeah, do tell.
I know who you're talking about, and
Well,
I'm not gonna mention his name.
Because we don't want to blow them up.
We don't want to blow him up. 'Cause he's my guy. We actually.
This is a secret spot.
No, it's a guy that I had mentioned before that shot that
It's
bear,
okay,
that black bear that was like 8.2 or
It's
8.3
okay,
or something.
Chris. We can cut any of this out.
Yeah, no, you won't.
But this guy
Straight to the internet.
wasn't a hunter, had never shot a bear, never shot a deer. Goes to Prince Wales Island. He wants to be a hunter. Got out of the service
Yeah,
and goes there, and so he gets. First time he shoots this deer on Prince Wales Island. And he says, okay, now what the hell do I do now? I've never gutted one of these things before.
Yeah,
And he's trying to Google it. He has no reception.
yeah.
And he doesn't want to be an idiot and take it into town and says, what do I do with this
Right.
deer,
Right.
And
Yeah, 'cause,
So he
you
says
if
he-
you don't learn from somebody,
he learned.
Yeah,
He said it was a hard lesson to learn. But
he did it all on his own.
Did it all on his own.
Yeah,
And,
that's my weakness is I always jump in and try to help. Like I say I'm trying to
Well-
teach them, and then I'm like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Just give me.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way, Jim.
I know.
We learned that from our dads, you
Yeah.
know, because they did the same thing
Yep.
when we were learning how to do it. And then eventually, when we learned how to do it, they're just like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing." And
Somehow
just
they
jump
lost.
in. Yeah, they just
lost
passed
their
it on.
memory.
Yeah,
Right.
How do you do it again, James?
right.
100%.
Ah,
And it was always Jim. Jim was always the gopher.
Yeah. I need someone to help me skin my deer. Can you help me?
It would usually be whiskey related, so I mean, there'd be some influence there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can imagine.
No, I'm more than happy to, especially with my uncles and with my dad, and
especially a family in
brother,
general.
like, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've helped Doug's gut and skin his animals, and I'm more than happy to jump in because there's been so many instances when other people are helping me, like Kris helping me.
Help
or
is
anyone.
help is always like it's a blessing.
Mhm.
it really is.
You know,
Yeah.
doing it by yourself is one thing, but if you have help, oh man,
The call when they're like, "Hey, my cousin Doug just shot a deer. Can you go help him?" And I'm like, honey, I just met these guys and they need some help now. And I'm in my pajamas and I'm going to put my clothes on and leave you and our daughter and go out in the rain in the dark.
That was the best. I think that was one of the best. Like,
you know what's funny is that was my grandma's birthday party that
Yeah.
I missed because I was out deer hunting. And it was the craziest thing because before that happened, a blizzard came through and it was like snowing sideways for like a half hour. And it was the weirdest thing because as soon as that happened, that deer walked in and it was game over.
and then I'm like, hey, Doug needs help.
Yeah.
I was at the birthday party for
Yeah,
Grandma.
you were there at Grandma's birthday. I'm like, oh
And
my gosh.
I'm like,
what am I doing?
I'll just call Chris. Hey, Chris.
Can you go help Doug? I think you've met him one time. Can you go help? I'm like, sure.
Sure. Why not?
I was just out there that morning to help you find yours. so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug
Doug
helped. Yeah. And it was, you
Which
gotta,
was funny because, you guys had that whole night before, and then we went out there and literally 20 yards.
yeah, I
there
was
the
like,
deer.
oh, it's right there.
That's deader and shit
I know.
right over there, Jim.
We thought we were in for some all day event looking for this deer. And
As soon as we got out there, oh, there it is.
you know what's
Deader in
funny
the
is
door now.
it's right past where me and Chris jumped him up too.
Yeah. I
Like-
think he must have fell down dead.
I don't know
He
if he
probably
did-
jumped up and then fell over.
he ran down. He jumped up. Like we saw him like
Right,
cross
The creek.
the creek, and then we're like, okay, we better just back
Yeah.
off now at this point because we'd pushed him,
It was dark.
and we had been after it for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know how we tracked him to where we ended up. Honestly, remember we were going through the ferns and we'd find like
Funny you asked.
then he
I'm
impaled him.
actually,
Well, I mean, it's winter
I'm a
time,
16th
too, in
Cherokee,
Washington.
Jim. Did you know that?
if I remember right, I was in the lead for a while.
I'm just saying, hey, don't hate.
Oh, yeah.
Participate. Twinkle,
Which-
twinkle, baby.
Which is, here's a pro tip: when those deer kick that elbow back, Doug's just losing it.
I'm trying to hold my tongue so bad, guys.
We were gonna put that together as an episode. I don't know if we're still gonna end up doing
I
that,
don't know. Yeah.
or maybe we'll just put the
I
footage
mean,
out there.
it's
on the,
halfway put together. It needs like some fine tuning.
I still have some footage that we need to put in that too.
I probably have all of it.
Yeah,
We
you
were
know.
having internet problems.
Potato, tomato.
Doug,
Potato.
we're doing the best we can here, folks. It's
Yeah.
it's hard.
I got enough shit on my plate. I'm doing my best, guys.
One story that my dad needs to tell is this bear hunt story with who was the guy? I think he's dead now. Well,
He's
all your
dead
buddies are
now.
dead.
All my buddies are almost
so
gone
sensitive.
now. Yeah.
Your
yeah.
friends are dead.
Where you?
Thanks, Chris.
I think it was with a lever action.
Oh yeah, yep. It was we're hunting with Chuck Thomas, Red Wing Guide Service.
Yep, Chuck Thomas. There we
And,
go.
We were over in Eastern Washington, and Chuck, make a long story short, was he had an outfitter called Red Wing Guide Service out of Duval for quite a while, and then regulations, and they were starting to cut down on dog hunting, and so he moved over to Eastern Washington by Colville. So we did a couple of favors for him. So he says, "Well, why don't you and Mike come on over, and I'll take you on a bear hunt." I say, "Hey, that sounds fine." So we get over there, and anybody that's hunted with dogs, it is just a hoot. It's just a shame that they
Yeah.
outlawed it in the state of Washington.
It's too bad.
But it is very physical, and back then there was no dog collars that you could track, and you could hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And once you hear this particular sound in one location, you run in the woods to get your bear.
They were trained
So-
differently back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
you knew.
So
There
me
was
and
a little
Mike,
bit
we'd
more
run in like 3
personality to
times
him.
in the woods. And Mike was, short guy, little guy, stocky, but he was worn out. He says, "Look, I'm done. I'm sitting here on the road. You guys go get the bear. I don't care who shoots it." So Chuck, who was a real wiry guy, he was about 6'2", but only weighed 180 pounds, skinny. He says, "Come on, Ron." He says, "They got the bear treat again." So he grabs a rifle, and I didn't know what rifle he grabbed. He grabs a 22. And he used a 22 to train his dogs.
Yeah.
Because if the dogs would tree a bear, and he would have a 22 just to kind of scare them off.
Right.
He's not there to shoot them, but So I've already been in the woods 3 times. I've run about 6 miles. I was a lot better shape then. And so Chuck's running through the woods, and they've got these little pecker poles, and he's dodging them, and I just put my shoulders down, and I'm breaking them off.
Nice.
And so Chuck gets to this, jumps up on these logs probably 30, 40 seconds before I get there. He jumps up on the log. The dogs are barking at this bear, and it's down in this hole.
Oh, it's in a hole?
It's in a hole.
Holy
it
moly.
didn't go up in a tree.
It didn't go up in a tree.
Oh, man.
So Chuck looks around. He doesn't see me. So the bear starts to come at him. So he shoots this bear with this little 22 and it pisses it off. And he nicks it in the side, and then he realizes I'm in trouble. So he starts to step back, with his brain not thinking that he's on a log.
Yeah.
And he falls with this 22 over his shoulder, and he looks up, and that bear's right there. And I never even aimed. I shot from the hip, and I hit that bear right in top.
Really? No.
Dropped
kidding.
it on his legs.
Wow.
And I
How
thought
far away were you?
maybe 30 yards.
Oh man!
Jeez.
And so I run up because I thought Chuck's hurt. I thought he's
Yeah.
hurt.
The bear laying
And
on
I
top
look-
of
I
him, or
sus-
what?
The bear was laying on his legs, dead.
So it landed on top of him. Yeah.
laying on top of him,
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
And Chuck's with his eyes are about that big around. He says, "God, Ron, you're my friend for life." I said, "You're all right. You're all right. You hurt. You hurt." He says, "No, good shot, man. Good shot."
Wow. Holy moly.
And that was my first bear hunt.
No
Talk
kidding.
about
That was
bear
my
hunt,
first bear
like
hunt.
cowboy style.
Dude,
right there.
that's pure cowboy.
Yep.
Your
Yeah.
dad just went from here to here. All the way to the chart.
Right. Oh, dude.
Yeah, that was definitely my first encounter with a bear, and it was
Nice.
exciting.
That's pretty awesome.
That's
I mean,
wild.
there's a certain amount of luck involved with
There
that
was a
shot.
lot of luck. I'm the first
Bear-
to admit there was a lot of
I
luck.
swear, bear hunting really just it gets you going, man.
Oh yeah.
100%.
There's just nothing quite like bear hunting, right?
No.
There's
No.
just like shooting a deer, shooting an elk. It's exciting in its own way, and I get more excited because I'm like, yes, like I got a whole freezer full of elk meat,
Right,
Or like,
right.
or I
Yeah.
just I got a buck, and I got to
Yeah.
just put that in
Yeah.
the freezer. A bear is just like, yeah, you're excited about the meat, but there's a certain level of adventure, and almost like
Hunting a predator.
yeah, just a
Yeah.
predator in general. But a bear and a mountain lion, I would say,
Yeah.
is probably in that same category.
Right.
Well, until you walk up on it and it's dead.
The
or
hunt
dead,
isn't
or
over,
it's
right?
Not
Right,
over.
Right.
It's not over.
Right.
Yeah.
Until
gotta
you know
prepare-
it's dead.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, as we found out even in that spring bear hunt,
yeah,
like I shot this bear and we're going to recover the bear, and the bear is not dead, and I ended up having to shoot it point blank with my 40 three times in the chest.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as it's trying to get up and grab me. You know?
yeah,
And that's the different aspect that bear hunting brings, other than deer and elk. Like you're not going to worry about an elk or a deer jumping up and coming after you. You know,
Right. No,
even
right.
if it's still alive, like you know that you can just shoot it again or whatever. It's not
right.
going to
It's
try
not
to
gonna
gore
try
you.
and gore you.
It's not going
yeah.
to jump up and run at you and be like ah. You know,
Yeah.
at least I
Right.
don't think so. I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
It happens.
You know, but that it's just a different kind of hunting. Bear
Speaking
hunting
of
is
predator
awesome.
hunting, did you know that my dad shot a big cougar?
I did
Tell
shoot
me
a cougar.
more.
Tell me
this
more.
is the story I want to
Actually,
hear.
I got the cat almost in the same area that I got my bear.
Really?
Yeah, over in Colville, above Colville. And again with Chuck Thomas. And it was during the wintertime. We were in about 3 feet of snow. And again with dogs. And we'd hunted, I think it was the second or third day of the hunt. And game warden came up to us first and said, "Are you guys hunting cat?" And we said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, there's a cabin about a mile up the road." A gal called and said, "There's a cat underneath her cabin.
What?
She wants to get it out." So this is where it all started.
I
So
wish
You guys
it
got
was
all the
still
rowdy
like that.
stories, dude.
No, I wish it was like that still.
Yeah.
Now
So-
Just get a phone call. There's a cow to get rid of. All right, I'm on my way.
So we get to the cabin, and the cat was gone. You know, the gal had a couple of dogs that I think it punched
Yeah.
the cat out from the house. So we followed the tracks, and at the time Mike had a big Dodge, big power wagon, you know. So we're going through, and then Chuck had this little that he rode the dogs on, had a little Toyota 4-door pickup. And right before we got on the cat, Chuck was coming up one of these roads that they just tried to plow, and he was a little too far over to the one side, and you couldn't see it, but there was a rock in there. And the truck virtually turned up on its side
Oh wow.
and was sliding down with 2 dogs still in the back. So me and Mike, we said, "What the hell?" He says, "Well, geez, he's going to go over the cliff, man." So we both actually stopped the truck and get out. We're trying to hang on to the bumper to stop this truck from going over. And then we see about 20 yards down the road, there's the plow.
Oh yeah.
So the plow guy came up to us. We flipped the truck back over. And I says, "Well, will it run?" He says, "Yeah. Let's go get that cat, man." So half the window,
I like this guy.
Half the window was smashed. One side's all
The
smashed
good old
in
days,
the front.
Jim.
oh man.
And but he still had a window, so the snow wasn't coming in. Dogs were all right. So we get maybe at 3/4 of a mile up the road, and let the dogs loose. And sure enough, they picked up that track again.
Nice.
And but here we are in 3 feet of snow. I got a 30-30. That's what I shot the cat with.
Nice.
And so we went through the snow maybe 1/4 mile, and dogs are barking. And we look up, and here's this big cat in the tree just laying there, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
spread out.
Chuck says, just bust it. So I reached up, shot it, and it just laid there. And he says, man, he says, you killed it in the tree. You're going to have to climb for it.
Oh, no.
Your adrenaline's pumping, you know. And I think I'm 32 years old, so I'll climb anything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I set my gun down, and I always carry my 357. Well, I'd left it in the truck because of the excitement and the accident and everything. I'd left it in the truck, and I reached back. I said, oh, shit, I don't have my pistol. And Chuck says, I don't have mine either. And he says, oh, it's dead. Go ahead and get it. So I set the gun down, and I just started to climb on that first limb, and that damn cat come flying out of the tree.
No shit.
Yeah. Well, I shot it, and it spined it, but it wasn't dead.
Oh, okay.
So it was still running with its front paws. Dogs are barking at it. Chuck's yelling at us, get the dogs off. It's going to kill the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So I reached for the 30-30 laying in the snow, and I look down, and there's snow in my barrel.
Oh,
So I open up the
no.
chamber, and I blow down the barrel, and I look down, and I'm standing on the cat's tail. and Chuck's grabbing the dogs, Mike's grabbing a dog, and then I just put the gun right next to his head and touch it off.
Touch it
you know,
off.
finish
Wow.
it up. But and then afterwards, it's amazing how your adrenaline gets pumped like that.
Yeah.
You know? And then I just want to sit down. I was worn out.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I've
It's
been there,
it's
done
just
that.
It was
crazy.
it was so fast.
So
it was
fast.
Just natural
Oh, yeah.
instinct.
And
you
it did nick one dog. And Chuck
Oh,
grabbed the
wow.
dog. He says, "You guys take the cat out." He says, "I got to get the dog to the vet." And 42 stitches later, next day, the dog's hunting
Back
again.
at it again.
Those
Oh,
Man,
man.
they
Dogs are so tough.
Those hounds are amazing.
Yeah.
You know, if we ever can have that again in this state, I would love to run dogs.
Oh, it is.
I would drop
Dude.
everything I'm doing and just run dogs.
I would be the
dude.
cat guy.
100%. I'd
Dude.
be right on board, Jim.
Guess we're moving over to the cabin.
Yeah, I'm moving over in full time. We're gonna run dogs every day.
Babe, pack up the kids. Pack up the kids. We're heading over east. We're going to run cats 24/7.
We'll just run cats 5 days a week,
Yeah.
and then we'll come home for the weekends.
Our ladies would love us.
And
So-
in that same hunt, we met a guy over there. Like I said, there was 3 feet of snow all over. And it was the day before that we got on the cat. Chuck says, I want to introduce you guys to this friend of mine. And he was a native Indian. He over in Eastern Washington. So we knock on the door, and this guy opens the door, open up, you know, and he says, "You guys want a drink?" He says, "Yeah, we'll have a drink." You know, we sit down and we're drinking. And I was sitting on one side of the cabin are all these pictures from newspapers of this guy catching mountain lions, for
Really?
circuses, zoos, all over. He would get them with a snare,
What?
a pole and a snare. And he said the biggest one he ever snared was 175 pounds, and he said he thought he was dead.
Wow.
But most of them were around 100, 100 and a quarter. But he
Yeah.
says he hit that one, and this Indian guy wasn't that big,
Really?
you know, but he was tough.
Dude, that is rowdy.
But he had
He
actually
did some
snared.
cowboy shit back in
He
the
had
day,
snared
Jim.
over 50
Jeez.
mountain lions.
Wow.
And sold them around the country, you know, through different fairs and circuses.
Different
and
world.
zoos and-
You don't find that anymore.
And now that
No.
people are picketing out in front of the PBR saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't hurt the bulls," and do all this and that. It's like, dude, they
I
were
know.
catching mountain lions and selling them off to zoos and
Right.
circuses. What the hell?
Yeah, that
That's
was
just what they did in the good old days.
quite the experience. It was
Yeah.
definitely quite the
I can
experience.
imagine.
Man, I wish we could go back to hound hunting cats. We would have so many more deer and elk in this state. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the moose population is gone to shit.
Oh, the moose population would be thriving.
Dude,
Yeah.
we'd probably be able to draw, more than once in a lifetime.
Yeah, and not just that. We need
Be
to
like
hammer
Maine.
down on the wolves because they're just going to be even worse of a nuisance than.
Speaking of wolves, did you see that the commission is well? Let's be realistic here.
Right.
We already know how this is going to go, but it's on the table. They're supposed to de-enlist wolves in the state of Washington. they've hit the criteria numbers that they need to be at, and delisting it's on the
Finally
table.
on it.
I would say
It's not going to happen, Doug, because we got so many wackadoodles running our game commission.
the problem is we have the science to back it, and they don't believe any of that.
Yeah.
Right. They don't believe the science.
No.
You know, they don't believe the common sense. I think that's the biggest issue is the common sense today is gone.
Well, here's a great example, guys. So, cougars have been a problem in eastern Washington for a long time, right?
It's because of all the deer and elk.
Yeah, there's
know?
tons of game over there. We haven't been
There
able
used
to
to
hunt
be.
them with dogs, so there's a lot of cattle ranchers over there in eastern Washington. And to speak of that, we ran into a family that has had issues with the cats, and they had to call the sheriff department to come in and eradicate the problem.
Yes.
Which-
So that's tax dollars too.
Yeah,
by the way.
100% tax dollars, and I know that they just want to blow them out on their own, but they can't do that.
Yeah.
So now they got to call someone to come do
So
it.
wolves are the same thing. So like cattle ranchers, when they have wolf kills on their cows, they have to call the game department, and the game department has to assess it. And then it's like I don't know if it's like a 3-strike rule. If the pack kills cattle in certain areas more than 3 times, then they can do something. But the problem is that the state has to pay the cattle ranchers per head
Yeah.
for every single cow that either I don't think lions falls under that criteria, but wolves does.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that we're paying out as taxpayers to reimburse these cattle ranchers is ridiculous. And so why we're not even thinking about considering the delisting these wolves, and some groups are really against it, and all the anti
Right off the
groups,
get-go, because they've been a problem like years
yeah.
ago. This was a years ago problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're now addressing it like it's too late.
Yeah, we're already too late, and this is like their last chance. And you know what they're going to do? They're probably going to piss it away. And
Probably.
Yeah, because there's too much pressure from politics.
Yeah.
And Inslee, do you like Inslee, Kris? Or
I'm his biggest fan. I actually sent him an invite to dinner to have him come over.
What do you get to feed him, a shit sandwich?
He didn't make it out to the gun range for that visit either, did he?
No, he didn't. No. He's one of my most favorite people. Him and Lorna are going to come over, and we're going to have a great time.
We're going to have a cookout.
We're going to talk about how we can destroy America all together. It's going to be the best talk. Trudeau's going to come over, and we're just going to kick each other.
Oh, man. Cherry on top.
now we're talking. That's what I was looking for. Thanks, Kris.
Yeah.
You've done it. Good job, Kris.
Yeah, my favorite people.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Again, September 12th, 5:30 to 8:30 at
The
Skookum.
Skookum Brewery, guys.
Come help us sue the Washington State
Sue
Fish and
the
Game
shit
Commission.
out of 'em.
We're suing the commission.
Bring your friends.
Bring your friends.
Neighbors.
We're going to do it regardless.
We're
but
doing it regardless.
It sure would help us to have
Yeah.
more funds, because more funds is more lawyers
Yeah.
and better lawyers.
Again, so we
Who
partnered
doesn't
with
want to drink beer?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beer. It's with we partnered with the Sportsman's Alliance, and they're the people who sued Lorna Smith for lying and cheating and being on multiple things illegally and still causing all the problems that she's causing. And they won their lawsuit, by the way, and Jay Inslee doesn't care, and neither does Bob Ferguson, because they're both real choice people and lie and cheat, steal themselves. So come help us sue the state. We're going to do a bunch of these. We're going to keep suing Washington State until we get all of our rights back, and then all of these anti-hunting people just go away because
Yeah.
we're sick of them. So you can't. I mean, people who are listening, like, you can only do so much. You know, we all have jobs and we have normal stuff, and we can't be on fish and game commissions and just ruin stuff for other people all day. So come help us. You know, pay some people, pay some attorneys to go and get rid of our problem.
We got a good lineup.
Yeah.
They're starting to show up.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
Talking to a few people.
Yeah.
We're about ready to unload some barrels.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, we're sick of being
We're tired of sitting back.
yeah.
Gloves are finally off because the commission has finally showed their full hand of what they want to do.
Oh, and I think this is
Yep.
just
You know,
this is
and
just
it's
a tip,
it's
really.
game
Yeah,
on.
it is just the tip.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think all in all, their overall goal here is not just, it doesn't end at hunting in general. I think they would love to lock everyone out of the Washington State public lands in general.
100%.
And rewild everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And what good is that going to really do? I mean, let's be real.
Nothing.
guys.
They want to lock everyone in freaking containers and make everyone live in these little bubbles and
Yeah.
eat tofu together and
Yeah,
do whatever else
Yeah.
they do down there. And
refer to our episode with Randy on that, because I
thanks a lot,
touched on that
Biden.
as well.
He's been the one that's really been pushing that.
Yeah.
Because he denied all that funding for all
Oh, yeah.
the hunting education and
Yeah.
Biden's on our list too.
Yeah.
By the way, if you don't know, we're not big fans of Biden as well.
Or whoever's pulling his strings, because
Yeah.
that guy can't even put his own pants on, for Christ's sake. He's not making any
He's
decisions.
so screwed. The House Oversight's about to subpoena the shit out of him.
God.
So
It wouldn't. He can't even say subpoena or spell it, so he doesn't matter.
right,
The guy has
exactly.
no. That
That's
guy.
the whole point.
That guy has no idea what's going on.
No.
It's just macaroni salad up in that brain.
Ice cream and kids smells good. Yeah.
That was just a bashing video.
Yeah. Okay. We better wrap this
Well
up. Doug.
deserved. Yeah.
Oh man.
We are ahead of our last episode, so the giveaway that
We
did in
haven't
last
done the
one-
giveaway.
No,
Yeah,
because
it's-
we haven't. We're gonna.
So
put that
I think
out soon.
what we're gonna do is this video is gonna come out at the same time as the other one. I haven't had enough time, guys, to put the last one together. It's ready. Just the whole internet and computers. It takes
internet,
its time.
computers, work, lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work lives.
We will. We're gonna do a giveaway on this one though. Right.
I think we can drop this one and the last one at the same time.
Are we gonna do a giveaway on this one?
We're gonna do. Yep. We're gonna
We
do
can.
We're gonna do the Paparon giveaway.
The Paparon.
Do we want to do a big giveaway at all or no?
Yeah. Let's do. I got
Should we do a loophole giveaway?
No, I got something special.
We're not
Not
ready for that?
yet. Not
Not
yet.
yet?
Calm your tits, Doug. Jeez Louise, you guys over here giving away the farm. I give them one glass of whiskey. Jeez. We have.
Take it away, Chris.
I have some knives in the gun shop, and we're gonna give one away, a special knife, and depending on which one it is, we'll see who wins it, and we're gonna search your social medias and see how good of a person you are, and then maybe we'll have my dad, like sign it or something.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Like a special commemorative
Sure.
Ron Cantrell knife.
Oh, is it one of your dad's old knives?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if the guy deserves it or
Is this a
not.
Special surprise knife or what?
Yeah.
So this is gonna take some work. Like these are nice. If I am thinking of the same
Yeah.
knives, like,
Yeah.
they're all really nice knives.
So, how are they going to win this?
That's a great question. What do you think, Doug?
Oh man, what kind of good stuff can we brew up for this one?
How about this? In order to put in for this giveaway, you have to go a little bit above and beyond. You have to share a link of this podcast on your story on Instagram or Facebook.
Oh, I like that.
And that puts you in for the really, really fancy, beautiful knife giveaway.
Oh, the old Ron Cantrell giveaway.
And
There we
if
go.
Ron signs it, then
I
basically
think whoever
it's worth
goes
$1 million,
above and
so-
beyond sharing and liking and doing whatever you gotta do on the old internets.
Yeah,
I
dude,
think whoever
Tag us
goes,
in it.
Yep, tag us, whatever it is, whoever goes the furthest, that's gonna be the winner.
You think so? We're just gonna make it a competition. Like who can go the above and beyond the furthest?
Yep, I think so.
I'm down for that.
I don't know how that's going to pencil out, but I think you guys got to do as much as you can.
Do
There you go.
something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's going to be big.
Yep.
So,
I think it's well worth it.
before you wrap us up, Doug, one more time. September 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Skookum Brewery.
Skookum
Right next to the Arlington Airport.
Yep.
5:30 to 8:30. Bring your wallet, bring your friends, bring as many people as you want.
Is this a 21 and older?
It is 21 and over.
Thirsty.
Man.
Thank you for pointing that out. So 21 and over. That is a brewery.
Even if it's a private event, are we sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
we will do family events. I mean, we all have
if you come
kids.
there,
And
I hope
know,
you're 21 and over because it's
we'll
gonna be a lot
do
of
some of
beer
those, but
drinking.
this one is going to be 21 and over.
Okay.
Come have a beer if you don't want to have a beer. That's fine. But bring your friends, bring your money.
I mean, shit, we'll buy you a beer.
Support a good cause.
Yeah, they have,
you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure they have like ciders there too of some
Yeah.
sort.
I have no idea.
I don't really know. I'm just saying random stuff.
I'm an IPA kind of guy.
Yeah, me
so but
If you don't have to drink if you don't want to.
yeah, show up, support a
Show
good
out.
cause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, help us sue Washington State. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna bring
All
the
right.
hammer down.
Wrap it up, Doug.
All of them. So with that said, thank you Leopold, thank you Black Rifle Coffee, and thank you Montana Knife Company.
Mm-hmm.
Some great stuff.
Yeah.
And with that said, stay humble and hunt hard, guys.